Hey, everybody, before today's episode gets started, I just want to give a heartfelt and just a warm message from Underground Sports Philadelphia. I speak for our entire company. The tragic plane crash that happened in Northeast Philly earlier this week, just a gut-wrenching, situation that nobody should ever have to deal with. That coupled with the horrific plane crash and helicopter crash in Washington, D.C., the fighter jet crashing in Alaska, just scenes that you never want to see happen. And obviously when something hits so close to home, like the event that happened in Northeast Philly, it sends chills down your spine that you never want to feel. It twists your stomach in knots, and it makes you, reflect on what's truly important. I want to send our heartfelt, warm wishes to anybody that has been affected by this unthinkable and just abnormal tragedy that should have never occurred. And it's just so unfortunate that we lost so many beautiful lives due to an unfortunate circumstance. And if there's anything that we can do here at Underground Sports Philadelphia, please reach out to us. You can email us at undergroundsportsphi@gmail.com. Send us a DM on social media. We are here for you. And if there's any way we can get involved to help out with any families affected, please let us know, and we will do our best to be there for you in any sense we possibly can. And again, we are just so like, it's unthinkable to think that this has happened so many times in just such a short span, and one of those times happening right in our backyard here in Northeast Philly. So our best wishes to any family affected by this unfortunate incident, and we love you guys. And without any further ado, let's get into the episode. What's up, guys? It's KB. Make sure you subscribe to the Underground Sports Philadelphia YouTube channel. Click the bell icon down below so you don't miss a single video from us. And thanks for tuning in to another video from Underground Sports Philadelphia. Now let's get into it.
Philadelphia, baby, you're going to love it. Best sports fans in the world. Actually, the worst, but that's what makes them the best.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome into episode number 713 of Underground Sports Philadelphia, presented by the city of Vineland. It's your boy KB coming at you from Underground Studios. It is Super Bowl week. Ladies and gentlemen, it is time. The Philadelphia Eagles, this time next week, we'll be sitting here in the studio doing what we believe we'll be doing. I'll put it that way. We're going to talk some more of the game. We're going to talk the send-off party. We're going to talk everything that's been going on around the Philadelphia Eagles with no game this week. The Pro Bowl games happened. I tuned in for a little bit of that. Maybe we'll talk a little bit about that. But we'll talk some big game. We'll talk some birds. We will talk a little Flyers as they made a trade since the last time we have recorded an episode. We'll talk a little NBA, a little Sixers, a little WNBA. I got a little soccer news for the people because, we out here top bins just being ahead of the insiders. We'll talk about it at length on this week's episode of Top Bins, which you should go subscribe. And then it's anniversary week, everybody. It is Underground Sports Philadelphia anniversary week that will roll around on Friday. It is our anniversary on Friday, which is crazy to think that 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. We're going on year 7. Year 7 is crazy to think about. It's wild. It's wild. It's wild. I'm very excited. I'm very pumped. And we'll get into all that. We'll get into all of it. But before we get into everything, make sure you guys are following us on the socials at Underground PHI, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Threads, Facebook. We're on every social platform. Every platform you can think of, we are there. Follow us. You can follow me on Twitter at KBIZZL311, Instagram, Threads, KBIZZLE11. I'm on Blue Sky. I'm on TikTok. I'm on YouTube as well. So follow me. Subscribe to me there as well on my personal accounts. Subscribe to the podcast. Apple, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts in audio form. Guys, this is a huge week for us. I know we did this in 2022, and I don't think we like locked in as much as we should have in 2022 with coverage for this week. But I'm very excited for what we're going to be bringing on the pod. I'm hoping on Thursday's show we're going to have a couple of guests. I'm working on nailing down those time frames and everything for those selected people that I'm trying to get on the show. But hopefully we have a few guests to help us preview the big game. But subscribe, Apple, Spotify. Leave us a 5-star review. It goes a long way for helping this show continue to grow, helps more people find Underground Sports Philadelphia and our entire network of podcasts. And subscribe to the Underground Sports Philadelphia YouTube channel, youtube.com/@UndergroundSportsPhiladelphia. That is where you get full video episodes of this show twice a week in video form, full video episodes of every show on our network, clips, shorts, live streams, original video content. It's all on our YouTube channel. January was, I'll talk about it towards the end of the show, January was our best month on YouTube ever in the history of us being on YouTube. We've now been on YouTube for 3 years. We are at 982 subscribers. 18 away from 1,000. We want to get to 1,000 subscribers before Friday. Let's make that happen. If we get to 1,000 subscribers before or on anniversary day, we got some big things coming your way. I promise you that. YouTube.com/@UndergroundSportsPhiladelphia. Subscribe. Leave a like on the video. Drop a comment in the comment section. Click that bell icon so you know whenever new videos go live. And this show is proudly presented by the City of Vineland. And the City of Vineland Municipal Calendar features city-organized, city-sponsored, and city-affiliated events that are of public interest. The calendar, which is accessible at vinelandcity.org, is a good way for residents and visitors to build awareness, remain engaged with city government, and participate in local events. You can also follow the City of Vineland on their social media pages, whether it be Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, or YouTube. And through these tools, you can stay connected to the community and get important announcements about programs and services offered by the city. Vineland, New Jersey, where it's always growing season. And big thank you to Security 21 Security Systems and Paul J. Gillespie Incorporated for their continued support of this podcast.
I'm Mayor Anthony Finucci. If you're looking for the right location, think Vineland, New Jersey. Our pro-business approach is supported by financial incentives, workforce development programs, and other resources which can give your business a competitive edge. Whether you're starting a new business or expanding to new markets, our business environment, infrastructure, accessibility, and quality of life make Vineland an ideal location. More information about how we can help your business grow can be found at vinelandcity.org. Vineland, New Jersey, where it's always growing season.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, like I said at the top of the show, at the top of my lungs, it's Super Bowl week. It's big game hunting week. We have arrived. The Philadelphia Eagles landed in New Orleans today as I record this on Sunday night, ready to rock and roll. Jalen Hurts with one of the coolest hoodies I have ever seen. His 2 different colored Jordan cleats, sensor bars on them. I believe it is a campaign that Jordan Brand is running for the 40th anniversary of Michael Jordan having Jordan Brand sneakers banned from the NBA. So that is pretty cool. Pretty cool hoodie, I do say so myself. The Eagles had their send-off party today, and before I get into all of that, I want to talk to you guys about our friends over at 47 Brand. Guys, I'm wearing one of the coolest hats I've ever purchased right now. If you're watching on YouTube, you should be. I've got my Super Bowl LIX Super Bowl 59 hat that is just absolutely breathtakingly stunning. I didn't even show the underbrim. A nice shiny blue. It is a gorgeous piece of headwear. I've gotten compliments on it already, and I've only worn it out in public once. It is truly one of the coolest hats I own, and it'll be even cooler when the Eagles get the job done on Sunday, February 9th, which is listed on this hat here, right there. You can get this hat yourself, and it will be shipped to you more than likely before the big game if you order right now. We have a whole curated list of NFC Champions gear in our bio. It's linked in the description. It's linked in our bios. Shop 47 brand. Get geared up for the big game. You still have time. Shop 47 brand. Stand out. Look your best. Have people complimenting you, asking you where you got your gear. 47. I've been wearing 47 brand. I tell you guys all this time. I've been wearing 47 brand since I was a teenager. Before it was cool. 47 brand was kind of under the radar. Nobody really knew what it was. Now they are the go-to for headwear, for a vintage look, to rep your favorite sport, whether it be the NFL, NBA, MLB, NHL, NASCAR, college sports, Premier League. They've got it all. Use our link in the description. Shop NFC Champions gear. A bunch of headwear. Get your Super Bowl 59 hat that looks just like this. It's like a wool type shell case here. Brim, very similar material. Under brim is more of a shinier feel to it. But it's a gorgeous hat. Get yours today. Use our links in the description and shop with our friends at 47 and join the 47 family today. Also want to talk to you guys about our awesome merch partners at PHI Apparel Company. Guys, you want to stand out in the crowd, whether you're going to a big game party, whether you're going out to the bars, hanging out with your people, you want to stand out in the crowd, PHI Apparel Company is the place to do it. They've got the coolest and custom big game gear available for you to represent your Philadelphia Eagles this coming Sunday. Go to phiapparel.co. Check out all of the new gear they have available for the big game. Check out Underground Sports Philadelphia podcast merch. We have new merch coming very, very soon. I can promise you that. Been talking to Tyler this week. We're going to make that happen. When you go to checkout, use code UNDERGROUND for 10% off your next merch order. That's phiapparel.co. Code UNDERGROUND, 10% off your next merch order. Let's get into it. Eagles send-off party. Over 10,000 people today at the link for the Eagles send-off party. Just absolute scenes. It looked like a regular season game. Traffic was rolling in, and you had people on the field like crazy for a send-off party. Okay? You had all the players in attendance. Gilly was in the building blowing the whistle, doing the damn thing, and I am just... It got me even more excited for Sunday. Like I told you guys, I am I'm very like confident in this team and this year. The more and more we take a look at the 2022 roster, which is our most recent kind of like litmus test to the Super Bowl, this team is leaps and bounds better. I think they play with a more team-unified style of football. And at the end of the day, Jalen Hurts is so locked in to what the mission is for this team and what the task at hand is. He has experience playing on this stage. He has outplayed the guy he's going to be going up against at his same position in this game head-to-head. You know, Jalen was asked this week, vivid memories from the last Super Bowl, and he said, next question. Like, he knows what is at stake in this game. He knows the mission he has to accomplish in this game. And he's so laser-focused, so dialed in. I'm ready for Jalen Hurts to just silence the doubters once again, put the world on notice, and let everyone know that Jalen Hurts has been this guy the whole damn time. he's been a pro. The whole damn time he's been playing at the elite levels, whether it be in college or at the NFL stage. Jalen Hurts is so prepared for this game. I'm confident in him. I'm confident in this offensive line. I'm confident in these playmakers. And here's the craziest stat that I don't know if we're talking about. I can guarantee we're not talking about this stat nearly enough because it's that crazy, and it's something that feels like it should be fake, but it's not. And it's the fact that the Kansas City Chiefs, in this iteration of the Kansas City Chiefs, this run they have been on since the 2019 season, when Patrick Mahomes won his first ring, and this group of Chiefs, you know, some have come and gone, but this era of Kansas City Chiefs football have never played against Saquon Barkley. I saw that stat this week, and I was flabbergasted that the Kansas City Chiefs have never played against Saquon Barkley. It's nuts to think about. Like he's never played against them. And the fact that the Chiefs have played the Giants in 2021, but Saquon was out with injury. And that, to me, is something that would never get talked about in the national media spotlight because they don't want to bring that to light. They don't want to, talk about how the Chiefs are quite literally unprepared for Saquon Barkley. They can do all the prep work they want, but they don't know how to prepare for Saquon Barkley because they have never faced Saquon Barkley. They have never faced Saquon Barkley behind this Eagles offensive line. And I think that, ladies and gentlemen, is such a massive key to this game on Sunday, February 9th, that we're not talking about it enough. Saquon has never faced the Chiefs. The Chiefs have never faced Saquon. And their first crack at Saquon Barkley is going to be during this record-setting year he has put on behind the best offensive line in football. Try to stop him all you want. Jalen Hurts can run the football. Try to stop that all you want. Jalen Hurts can sling the rock down the field. And I like this stat too about Devontae Smith. And it has me feeling giddy about what Smitty's going to be able to do in the Super Bowl. This comes from Sean T. Green, who hosts the Sports Gambling Podcast, and he's the co-founder of the Sports Gambling Network. Devontae Smith in his career against Steve Spagnuolo and Spags' defenses. 7 catches, 122 yards, 7 catches, 100 yards, and 6 catches for 99 yards. You want to move the ball down the field, feels like Smitty's the way to do it. I also think A.J. Brown is poised to have a very good game in the Super Bowl. I think Dallas Goedert, if they continue using him the way that they have used him in these playoffs, is going to be a massive factor in this game. And again, I just can't help but think about the single fact that the Kansas City Chiefs have never played against Saquon Barkley. Like, that blows my mind. And it gets me giddy thinking about what Kellen Moore can dial up for this offense and showcase that the Chiefs will not be ready for. Because, sure, you can watch all the film you want. You can prepare and practice all you want. But at the end of the day, when it comes to playing the game, you got to play the game. And guess what? Spags' defense with this Kansas City Chiefs era of football has never played the game against Saquon Barkley. which is just a wild thought. I love that Brandon Graham is back. He's practicing. Now, I am not saying necessarily Brandon Graham should immediately be starting. Should be back in the rotation at a full snap count or anything on this defensive line. What I am saying is it makes the depth for this defensive line that much greater. It's going to allow Jalix Hunt to be more effective. It's going to allow Josh Sweat to be more effective. It's going to allow Nolan Smith to be more effective. It'll let Milton Williams be more effective. I am very happy that BG is back. We'll see if he ends up playing. I know, his practice window is open, so he got in a few limited practices this week, which is awesome. If BG just give us one more golden ride here and make your mark even bigger than what it already is in Philadelphia Eagles franchise history. I just feel such a calmness with this year. And I know I've talked about it in the past couple episodes. I've had a nervous confidence around 2022. I had a nervous confidence, with baseball playoffs. And I feel this calmness. I feel good. I feel like this team is far more prepared, far more ready for the moment, and just ready to shock the world. And that's what the Philadelphia Eagles do on these stages. They shock the world. And I feel incredible, about the preparation this team has put in, the vibe of the team right now just feels so positive and feels so just overwhelmingly like prepared is the word that continues to come to mind. They are prepared, they're confident in themselves, they're not cocky. They know that the team across from them is a very talented team, but at the end of the day, we're going to play our game, they're going to play theirs, and when that final whistle blows, the better team will come out on top, and genuinely, I think the better team is the Philadelphia Eagles. This Chiefs team has skated along this season on offense in far too many situations. I think their defense, the more I look at it, they're talented, but I think they're getting a little overhyped from what they actually are. And, looking at what this Chiefs team did this year, it's a miracle they finished the way they did. And when I say miracle, wink, wink. No, I'm just playing. But there are some moments where it's just it makes you question some things. But you look at their season this year, they win that first game against the Ravens on Thursday Night Football opening night because Isaiah Likely's foot was a half size too big. They survived the Bengals by 1 point the following week. They beat the Falcons by 6 the following week. They beat the Chargers by 7 the following week. They beat the Saints by multiple scores. They beat the 49ers by 10 points. They beat the Raiders by 7. They beat the Buccaneers by 6. They beat the Broncos on a blocked field goal by 2. They lose to the Bills. They survive the Panthers 30-27. Survive the Raiders again 19-17. Survive the Chargers 19-17. They beat the Browns by 2 touchdowns. They beat the Texans pretty handily. They beat the Steelers 29-10 on Christmas Day, and then they sat everybody and lost to the Broncos 38-0 the final game of the season. But that's how many games by 1 score that they won this season. The Ravens, the Bengals, the Falcons, the Chargers, the Raiders, the Buccaneers, the Broncos, the Panthers, the Raiders again, the Chargers again, and the Bills in the playoffs. 11 games this year, including the playoffs, they won by 1 score. 11-0 in 1-score games. and we'll have our keys and our approach to the game on Thursday's show, but early on, the keys to the game for the Eagles are very clear. Keep it from being a one-score game late and go up early. Go up early so you build a lead that makes it difficult for them to claw themselves out of, because that game against the Bills in the AFC Championship game was the first time all year that the Kansas City Chiefs scored 30-plus points. The most they scored in the regular season was 29, which came against the Steelers on Christmas Day. I'm sorry, they scored 30 on November 24th. They did not score more than 30 all season. Apologies there. They scored 30 on the dot twice, but they did not score more than 30 points until the AFC Championship game. Run the football, set the tone, make it a gritty game in the trenches, and that allows you to open up the passing game when you're up by 10 points, 14 points. But that's the key to the game. Control time of possession, run the football, and don't allow it to be a close game late. That is a key to success. This Chiefs team is very beatable. I know it may not look that way on paper, but at the end of the day, you look at their wins, and there's multiple games where you can say they should have lost that game. Should have lost. I don't know. I'm just genuinely excited. Like, I feel so good. Like, I'm so pumped that we are finally here. It's Super Bowl week. There's so much going on. You know, we're going to have media day happen on Monday as you guys are listening to this. And I hope somebody recreates the Alshon interview. That Alshon interview is one of the most iconic Super Bowl moments of all time. I can't help but watch it whenever it pops up on my timeline. I love the way that Alshon approached that. And that's the attitude I feel like this Eagles team is embodying this week, is kind of, you know, blinders on, tunnel vision, staying focused on the task at hand, and that's winning that game on Sunday when that final whistle blows. And you got to go in with an Alshon mentality. And I'm so excited to see this team just come out and shock the world again. That's the exciting aspect about this game, is that hardly anyone believes in them. People may be rooting for the Eagles. There's people openly rooting for the Eagles to win that aren't necessarily Eagles fans. But there's a lot of people doubting the Philadelphia Eagles in this game, and I love it. Let us be the underdogs. Let us be that underdog squad, because you know what happened the last time. We were underdogs. Right there. Thursday show, hopefully going to have some guests, and we will also have like our favorite props. Harrison and I will go through our favorite props for the big game, and we will go through just like our overall vibes, our keys to the game, our keys to success, and predictions and all of that. Not necessarily from me score-wise, because I don't do that on this show anymore. If you know, you know. But I am over the moon pumped. It feels like Brandon Graham is going to be back, and I am just I can't wait. I can't wait, man. Like, Sunday is going to be such a fun day. And we get a Kendrick Lamar and SZA full-blown performance on Sunday as well, which is going to be an absolute banger. I'm just, like, I feel like a kid again. Like, I feel like 2017 again, going in against the big bad giants of the dynasties, and ready to to silence so many people. There was an amazing video, man. It was a TikTok of the Eagles, all the other teams in the NFL as the Avengers in the famous scene from Avengers Endgame going up against the Chiefs, and only the New York Giants and Taylor Swift were on that side. And it was very funny. There's some very like deep-pocketed meanings behind a lot of the stuff that was in it. It was great. But that's how I feel. Like, it is us against the big, bad dynasty that needs to be humbled and needs to be taken down once and for all. And at the end of the day, Nick Sirianni can cement his legacy in Philadelphia as the greatest coach to ever coach here in a 4-year time span. And I know that sounds crazy because Doug Peterson won the first one. Andy Reid went to 5 NFC Championship games, only went to 1 Super Bowl, didn't win that Super Bowl. Nick Sirianni's been to the playoffs 4 times in 4 years, has been to the Super Bowl 2 times in 4 years, has constantly gotten berated, bullied, slandered, shit on, quite frankly, by the national media, by the local media, by local radio hosts, by local written out, like traditional writing outlets, whether it be newspaper, online, print journalism, what have you. He's always been clowned as somebody who's too big for his britches, as Ty Schmidt and the Pat McAfee boys who have been on the Sirianni side the entire time, some big dumb dipshit. Nick Sirianni can genuinely cement himself when he wins this game on Sunday as arguably the greatest coach in Philadelphia Eagles history. And quite frankly, I would love that as a staunch Sirianni defender. If you listen to this show, you know I have backed Nick Sirianni the entire time he has been here. Have I had questions of method? Sure. But at the end of the day, I never called for him to be fired. I never questioned if he was a bad coach. I questioned some methods. I questioned some decision-making. But I've always backed Nick Sirianni at the end of the day. And if you listen to the show, you full-blown know that. I've been in his foxhole the entire time he's been here. I would love nothing more, because the haters would be sick if Nick Sirianni is cemented as the greatest coach in Philadelphia Eagles history. Could you imagine? The scenes, the headlines. The walking back of so many takes. Oh, I would be here for it. I would so be here for it. And I am so ready for him to prove it to the world that he's a damn good football coach, man. And when he gets the job done on Sunday, I can't wait to celebrate him. I can't wait. Can't wait. But Media Day, Media Week is going to go on this week. Who knows what's going to go down in New Orleans. I know our good friend of the program, Gio, the podcaster, going to Temple. Shout out to the boy. He's down there for media the next couple days, which is going to be really cool. And I am just so fucking excited. I can't wait. That's all I can say. With not much else going on around the team right now. You know, the send-off happens. The Eagles landed in New Orleans perfectly fine, perfectly safe, thank goodness. I just can't fucking wait for this game. I cannot wait for this game. Before I keep it pushing, I do want to talk to you guys about our friends over at FOCO. FOCO, the leaders in forever collectibles. We just received from our pals at FOCO a very awesome gift that not many people are going to have. It was a numbered item. It is a Brian Dawkins bobble doubles. It's Brian Dawkins bobblehead holding said Brian Dawkins bobblehead. And me being superstitious, I did not want to bring it down. I'm not superstitious, I should say. I'm a little stitious. I didn't want to bring it down to the studio just yet. But we'll see. We'll see when that happens. But FOCO, the leaders in forever collectibles, officially licensed collectibles, merchandise, apparel, that is truly going to be a talking point in your man cave, in your she shed, your homes, on your bodies with the apparel. They are truly the best. We love FOCO. They've been rocking with us for quite some time now, and we are so thankful for FOCO getting down with the podcast. Use our link in the description and shop officially licensed Eagles merchandise, Sixers, Phillies, Flyers, Union, college sports, WWE, you name it, they've got it. Use our link, shop with FOCO, and upgrade your forever collectibles today. And we thank FOCO for sponsoring the podcast. Let's talk a little Fly Guys. A little trade popped up this week. Joel Farabee, Morgan Frost traded to the Calgary Flames in exchange for Andrei Kuzmenko, Jacob Pelletier, a 2025 second-round pick, and a 2028 seventh-round pick as a deal between the Flyers and the Calgary Flames. So Beezer and Frosty going to Calgary in exchange for Kuzmenko, Pelletier, and a couple draft picks. Since this trade has happened, the Flyers have been shut out in 3 straight games for the first time in franchise history in the regular season. Things are not great for this team right now, and I have to continue reminding myself that this is year 1 of said rebuild. The Flyers are now in last place in the Metropolitan Division by proxy of overall record. Granted, they're 3 points back of the Islanders to move right back on up. 7 points out of a playoff spot. I'm not saying this team is a playoff team whatsoever. But I think trading Farabee, trading Frost is a signal to the fans that 2 pieces of what was believed to be your core were expendable, and we're embracing this rebuild. Those guys were not going to be long-term pieces here, so we were going to move them, clear cap space, bring in a guy who has a relationship with your superstar in Matvei Michkov, and see how that plays out, the rest of the season, being that he's a free agent after the year, not Michkov. Who is it? What is his name? Kuzmenko is a free agent after the year. I don't know. It's been a lot of fun moments so far this year for the Flyers, but obviously knowing that it is a rebuild year, and we've said that from the jump on this show. It's year 1 of this rebuild process, and there's been a lot of people this week calling for Tortorella to be fired. I don't know. I think, you're 54 games into the season. I think you kind of just let this one ride out and reassess in the offseason. I don't really see the value in firing Torts now, because who are you going to hire to then replace? I think that's just silly with a team in the current position the Flyers are in. It's a bad spot to be in, for sure. But I like that the front office is finally embracing the rebuild. Like Frost and Farabee being traded is a clear sign that this front office was ready to kick this thing into next gear. Let's get the wheels churning on this rebuild and start moving. It's probably not what you want to see, and it's not ideal that the Flyers I saw today raised prices on season tickets. Not necessarily something I agree with in the current state of what the Philadelphia Flyers are in. But you battle through. You battle through. You take this season as kind of a wash and a focus on the bright spots on this team, like the Konechny's, like Matvei Michkov, like a Jamie Drysdale, like some of the young talent on this team. And then 2025, 2026 is going to be a huge year because year 2 of a rebuild is always pivotal in the assessment of the talent that will be here. Not necessarily the talent or the lack thereof that you bring in. It's the talent that sticks around after like declaring that you're in a rebuild that you really want to see how things play out with those guys. So that's something to definitely keep an eye on. And we'll definitely be keeping an eye on it because Harrison loves the Flyers. I appreciate the Flyers. I've watched more Flyers hockey this year than I have in a long, long time. And we've got the vision set, and that is brought to you by our friends at Tomahawk Shades, the best small batch eyewear in the game. From sunglasses to blue light glasses to prescription lenses, Tomahawk Shades has you covered to make sure your eyes are protected in any and all environments. I wear the blue light glasses when I'm editing the podcast, when I'm watching our favorite Philly sports teams. I'm wearing my sunglasses when I'm out on the road, when I'm going to games. They're the best. They are truly the best. It is an affordable eyewear product for a fraction of the price of the big eyewear companies. There's no need for you to be spending thousands of dollars on sunglasses when Tomahawk Shades is giving you a better quality product for a fraction of the price of those big eyewear companies. So go to tomahawkshades.com or download the Tomahawk Shades app in the App Store or Google Play Store. And when you go to checkout, use code USP for 25% off your next order. That's code USP for 25% off your next order at tomahawkshades.com or in the Tomahawk Shades app. Let's talk a little NBA, a little WNBA. Starting with the WNBA, the Sixers ownership group has placed an official bid for a WNBA team, the first of its kind in Philadelphia, because we have not had an official bid placed just yet. So I am excited about that, although it does suck that it comes with the attachment to Harris Blitzer Entertainment. You guys know how I feel about them. I know there's a big NBA trade that happened, and I will touch on that. I've been following along WNBA Free Agency. WNBA Free Agency is like the wild, wild west. And I've followed it from afar for a while now, simply because a lot of my friends who used to or still work in the NLL happen to work for an ownership group that also owns a WNBA team. So I've seen things, players change hands, switch teams quite often, but not really giving it any mind. And seeing the changing of players this offseason in the WNBA is absolutely insane. Like, some of these teams, they're going to have brand new starting fives. It's wild to see how many players are changing teams, the trades that are going on. Like, it's insane. I need to know where Natasha Cloud is playing, because that is homie, my favorite player in the league, Philly's own. I love Natasha Cloud. She is the best. I need to know where she's going to be playing, because she got traded to the Connecticut Sun. The Connecticut Sun, number one, did not post like a welcome to Connecticut graphic for her when other players that were traded with Natasha got those graphics. And Natasha has not followed the Connecticut Sun on Instagram. So I'm very interested to see how that all shakes out. But I need to know where Cloud9 is playing, because that is my favorite player. The way that she plays and her style of play is my favorite in the league. She is so fun. I love Natasha, and she's so fucking funny on Twitter. We need to get Natasha Cloud on this podcast. But it is crazy seeing how many different players are going different places. Like, I think Indiana has a brand new starting five, sans Caitlin Clark. Connecticut's going to have a new starting five. Phoenix has a whole bunch of new players. Brittany Griner's going to Atlanta. It has been a wild WNBA offseason. I got to get Mo Cliff on this show, too. Talk a little WNBA. If you're not following Morgan Clifford on social media, you're doing yourself a disservice, because the way that she is dialed into the WNBA is fantastic. And her and I always talk about the WNBA together, and it's so much fun. But the WNBA offseason has been crazy. The Sixers lost tonight as I record this on Sunday night to the Celtics in a game that they should have won. They blew a massive lead. I don't even know what the lead was at one point. They lose 118-110. They were up 29-21 after the first. They got outscored 38-16 in the fourth quarter. I mean, that team's dead in the water. But the trade that I want to talk about in the NBA that everyone knows, and I know it's not necessarily related to Philadelphia, but it's that big of a story. The Luka Doncic, Anthony Davis trade that broke well after midnight on Saturday night into Sunday morning was peak social media hours. And I'm yawning because I'm still recovering from being up that late. I was so thrilled to have been awake at that time when that happened, because I was like, I get the ESPN app notification. I was like, there's no way. And I go online, and it is breaking the internet. And I am just in awe of the stupidity that goes on in the Dallas area. The Mavericks just traded away a generational superstar for an aging, injury-prone Anthony Davis. And did it lurking in the shadows. They didn't contact any other teams, per se. According to multiple reports, there were other teams contacted, but they declined the package. If you're declining a package for Luka Doncic, what are you doing? Insane trade. Insane. And the fact that the NBA greenlit that and allowed that to go through is wild to me. I'm just stunned that Luka Doncic, who felt like one of the few players in pro sports in this day and age who could have been a lifer and stayed with the Dallas Mavericks his entire career, been up there with Dirk as one of the greatest to ever do it in a Dallas Mavericks jersey, gets thrown to the wayside by this GM in Dallas, who's an absolute bozo. And some of the stuff that he is saying publicly about this trade, if any of us were this bad at our day jobs, I tend to believe we would be fired. I tend to believe we would be fired. If any of us said what Nico Harrison has said publicly, on the record, in front of the media, about this Luka Doncic trade, the way that we perform at our jobs, we would be fired. It's crazy. Absolutely insane to just continue reading these quotes, and you can tell everyone around him thinks it's absolute bullshit. Like, absolute BS. And I am just thankful that we don't necessarily have the dumbest front office. We have quite a dumb front office here in Philadelphia with the 76ers. But we don't have this big of a dipshit running our team. Like, thank goodness. Because what are we doing? What are we doing? I am just speechless. And Luka's message that he posted on social media was perfect. Dear Dallas, 7 years ago I came here as a teenager to pursue my dream of playing basketball at the highest level. I thought I'd spend my career here, and I wanted so badly to bring you a championship. The love and support you all have given me is more than I could have ever dreamed of. For a young kid from Slovenia coming to the U.S. for the first time, you made North Texas feel like home. In good times and bad, from injuries to the NBA Finals, your support never changed. Thank you not only for sharing my joy in our best moments, but also for lifting me up when I needed it most. To all the organizations I've worked with throughout the Dallas community, thank you for letting me contribute to your important work and join you in bringing light to those who need it. As I start the next part of my basketball journey, I am leaving a city that will always feel like a home away from home. Dallas is a special place, and Mavs fans are special fans. Thank you from the bottom of my heart, Luka. No mention of the Dallas Mavericks organization. No mention of anybody in the organization. Brilliant job, Luka. Because you were blindsided by your bozo dipshit of a GM and a guy who should have been in that Mavericks jersey for his entire career is now a Los Angeles Laker. Is now playing with LeBron. And the Lakers just continue to get lucky and lucky and lucky. They go from Kobe and Shaq, to Kobe and Pau. And obviously Kobe is just Kobe. To then LeBron. And then LeBron and Anthony Davis. And now LeBron and Luka. And then when LeBron decides to hang it up, it'll be Luka Doncic and whomever. Because Luka is a marketable asset and a player that people want to play with. The Los Angeles Lakers are inevitable. It's insane. And the reaction from Mavericks fans online is completely justified to see just how crazy everything has just unfolded with all of this. It's so insane. I flabbergasted. I'm a huge Luka fan. I like Luka Doncic a lot. I think he's an awesome player. He's so talented, so smart. And the Mavericks just trying to fat shame him is crazy. But yes, the Luka trade broke the internet so much, and our brains are so broken on the internet to the point where people thought Shams was hacked because the trade just genuinely did not make sense. The trade did not make sense, and it's wild that we as a sports society have gotten to the point where we thought the biggest NBA insider was hacked because a trade was that insane to even think that it was real. Just wild. I know Harrison will have thoughts on, but the most random people that you wouldn't even think of were giving commentary on the Luka trade. Magnus Carlsen, the famous chess player, was chiming in. Sexy Red was chiming in. You had people who you didn't even realize were sports fans, let alone NBA fans, let alone sports fans, chiming in on this trade because of the magnitude that it brings and the global stardom that is Luka Doncic. And I found it absolutely insane. You see how marketable a player is. You know, you saw when Shohei Ohtani signed with the Dodgers and their social media presence just grew and grew and grew. The Mavericks went from 5.2 million followers on Instagram last night down to 4.6 million. They lost nearly 1 million followers on Instagram alone. That's the global star power that Luka Doncic has. Because not only do you have the American Dallas Mavericks fans and the American Luka Doncic fans, you have the Slovenia aspect of all this, where Luka is from, and you also have the Spain aspect where Luka was playing professionally before he came to the NBA. You have a triangle of Luka just fandom that the Dallas Mavericks decided was not worth keeping around at age 25. Absolutely insane. Just, it drives me crazy. If I was a Mavericks fan, if you are a Mavericks fan, I know this is a Philly sports show. If you're a Mavericks fan, I want you to call into our voicemail line because I want to hear your thoughts. Speakpipe.com/Underground Sports Philadelphia. This is all genuine, by the way, too. This is all genuine. I just want to hear your thoughts on this trade, how it affects your franchise, and what you do now as a fan. How do you feel about the team now that your global superstar has been thrown to the wayside and traded to one of the biggest franchises in the NBA and in all of sports? Speakpipe.com/Underground Sports Philadelphia. Mavericks fans, this is a safe space for you. I know there's probably some of you that are Dallas Cowboys fans, but a lot of those Dallas Cowboys fans just got Luka Doncic on their favorite team. I want to hear from the true diehard Mavericks fans. Safe space for you guys. We'll feature the voicemail on here because I'm genuinely curious about how you feel. It is one of the most wild and shattering trades in sports history of my lifetime. So I want to hear what you guys, as true fans, have to say about this whole thing. Speakpipe.com/Underground Sports Philadelphia. All Mavericks fans, call in. Want to hear from you guys. Moving right along, I always like to pump up our company, and when we do awesome shit, you guys know that. I'm our biggest supporter through and through. I will always hype up everything we do here at Underground Sports Philadelphia. So I want to talk a little footy. It's brought to you by our friends over at Paramount Plus. Paramount Plus, we love Paramount Plus here at Underground Sports Philadelphia, and they are doing an amazing initiative for Black History Month. This Black History Month, celebrate the joy and power of impactful storytelling in this special collection from The Shy, Papa's House, Lawman, Bass Reeves, Black Voices, now streaming on Paramount Plus. Explore the entire collection. A really cool initiative that they are rolling out this Black History Month. Black history is human history, and if you don't believe that, kick rocks. This podcast is not for you. This company is not for you if you don't believe that Black history matters. So check out the Black Voices collection on Paramount Plus. And since we're talking a little footy, we've got some big matches in the Premier League coming up in the Carabao Cup semifinals. Coming up on Wednesday and Thursday. This Wednesday at 3 p.m. Eastern Time, Liverpool versus Tottenham on Paramount Plus, as well as Wednesday as well. I'm sorry, Liverpool versus Tottenham is on Thursday. Wednesday, Newcastle, Arsenal in the Carabao Cup semifinals on Wednesday, February 5th at 3 p.m. And Liverpool versus Tottenham on Thursday, February 6th at 3 p.m. on Paramount Plus. Guys, it's the go-to destination for live sports. Paramount Plus. Use our link in the description. Sign up for Paramount Plus today, and don't miss out on the Carabao Cup semifinals, both in Leg 2. It's going to be absolute scenes. Arsenal, Newcastle, Liverpool, Tottenham to see who goes to the Carabao Cup final. And then check out the Black History Month collection that is now streaming on Paramount Plus. Sign up for Paramount Plus today using our link in the description and check out everything Paramount Plus has to offer. Get started today. Again, use our link in the description. Sign up for Paramount Plus, and we thank Paramount Plus for being a proud partner of the podcast. We were on top of a story on Top Bins that we will definitely talk about at length on our episode of Top Bins this week for sure. But I love when we're on top of things, and it makes me feel good knowing that I'm a new fan to the Premier League, like fully like vested and into it. If you missed the Premier decision, go check that out on our YouTube channel where I announced my fandom for the Premier League. We were on top of a story though, guys, and that episode was recorded on January 22nd. So it'll be 2 weeks ago, this Wednesday that we recorded the episode. Episode came out that Friday. This Greek wonder kid, Stefanos Tsitsipas, was rumored to be going to one of three places, more than likely in the summer. But the transfer window's open now for soccer. It closes by the time you guys are listening to this, which is basically like the trade deadline in the Premier League and in pro soccer. The Stefanos Tsitsipas kid, he's 19 years old. There was rumors of three places he could end up. The current club he's with, Nuremberg in Germany. We're trying to sign him long term. Liverpool, who, if you don't know, Matt and Sarah's favorite team. And Brighton, which, if you missed the Premier decision, go check that out. Brighton was in my Final Four. Maybe they're my squad. Fun fact, they are my squad. So those were the three teams. And it felt like more and more that it was going to be something coming in the summer. But we were on top of it. We were following along with the story and seeing how things were going to go. And then, like a little less than a week ago, comes out, Brighton's in like pole position to sign this guy. Me as a new Brighton fan, I'm stoked. I'm pumped. This kid is widely talented and highly regarded as a big-time young talent in professional soccer. And then the Adam Schefter, the Ian Rappaport, the Shams Charania, the Jeff Passan of pro soccer, Fabrizio Romano, tweets as I record this on Sunday that Stefanos Tsitsipas is headed to Brighton officially during this window. He's being loaned back to Nuremberg for the remainder of the season through June, and then he will join the club next year. Or at the start of next season, I should say. So in August of 2025. We were on top of it. We were talking about this kid weeks before anybody was really putting it in the public eye. And it feels good as an American-based company to be talking about Premier League soccer and kind of knowing what we're talking about. And as somebody who's new to the sport in fandom and new to the sport in talking about it on a podcast, it feels good to know we did proper digging into a potential story, found it, ran with it, and we were right. We were right. And it feels good to know that we were on top of it and we nailed it. Job well done. Harrison, myself, and Mark Kremer. Let's go, boys. We did that. We were on top of it. It feels good. If you're not watching Top Ins or listening to Top Ins, be sure you do. Top Ins is a fun time. Myself, Mark Kremer, has been joining us for the past couple of weeks. He's been a delight on the show. And Harrison Kremens, who obviously hosts every Thursday show with me here on the main pod, is also on that show every single week. Subscribe to Top Bins wherever you get your podcasts, and it pops up in video form on the Underground Sports Philadelphia YouTube channel every single week. Having a blast with that show, and we're happy it's back. So definitely check that out if you're a soccer fan, a pro soccer fan. We are talking all things footy on Top Bins. Last bit here. It is anniversary week, and I get sentimental during this week every year since we have started the podcast because it is such a crazy accomplishment every single time an anniversary for this company rolls around. And to know that we started this thing on February 7th, 2018, following an Eagles Super Bowl win, and didn't really have a full-fledged plan, per se. We had about a month of planning of what we were going to do, and we hit the ground running days after the Eagles had won the Super Bowl, and we have evolved this thing from a twice-a-week podcast talking Philly sports to that twice-a-week podcast talking Philly sports as we're talking right now, being on episode 713, to then adding a pro soccer podcast in Top Bins that same year, to then that same year adding a pro lacrosse podcast, which, not to toot our own horns, I believe is the number one lacrosse podcast on the market, hands down, that's not hosted by any players or has any professional player influence from fandom or anything. And there's no slight to those guys. They're doing great stuff. I just think from two fans, we are the number one lacrosse podcast on the market in the Outside the Box podcast. And then in 2020, we found ways to pivot and started streamer season, talking TV shows and movies on streaming platforms, and the Get in the Hole podcast, talking pro golf. And from there, we add little nooks and crannies to how we build, from our home run derby streams to March Madness coverage. And then we add a Formula One podcast just a few years ago that has evolved into a megastar podcast on this network that is now covering all things motorsports in the underground circuit. And not to mention, in 2018, we also add a spin-off expansion podcast with my alma mater in Vineland High School with our football team that has parlayed into me becoming the play-by-play broadcaster for every sport at my alma mater. To this past summer, us doing a daily Olympics podcast. Who would have saw that coming? Not me when we started this whole thing. It's truly mind-boggling, the opportunities we have gotten, the stories we've been able to tell, the people we've been able to talk to, the rooms we've been able to walk into. And we didn't necessarily walk into them. We kind of kicked the doors down and said, hey, we're here. And to know that on Friday we'll be celebrating 7 years of doing this when the average podcast lasts 3 episodes. When a global pandemic shut down multiple podcasts before they could even get going. Before we even knew what we had as a company, and we've been able to evolve and meet new people that have become some of my best friends because they just wanted a shot in the media landscape. You know, meeting people like Pat Pitts and DJ and Stephen McAvoy and Harrison and Christian and Casey and Owen and Ben Pirro and Brittany Wilbur and John Mavalia. It's a wild thing. And then, you know, Brandon Hooten and Chase, my guy, the PLL pipeline, my boy Chase Strawberry, you know, to obviously the start of this whole thing being with 3 of my lifelong friends in Matt, who is my brother-in-law, and Dom, who I've known since 5th grade, and Dylan, who I've known since I was 9, 10 years old, to start this thing from the ground up, and every single person who's walked through these doors, and we've had people come in, leave, like the Brooke Destras and Alex McIntyres and Andrew Helfmans and Tom Senerchias and Owen Mitchell, and go on to massive corporations, to work for sports teams, to work at NBC Sports Philadelphia, to work at ESPN. It's really cool to see that we're still so much in our infancy phase of what we're going to accomplish. Not what we're trying to accomplish, what we're going to accomplish. And what we have been able to accomplish so far has been really, really special. And it's all thanks to every single person who follows us on social media, who listens to the show every single week, to every single person who watches on YouTube now. You know, I got a text from Pat Pitts last week. Shout out to Chef Sandro up in Massachusetts. Diehard Birds fan. Listens to the show every week. Like, we're everywhere. We have people listening all over the country, all over the world. And it's because of people who support us and see what we're trying to do and kind of break down the traditional media barriers and be that non-traditional media outlet to break through. We want to be that company that you come to for your sports coverage. And we're able to do what we've been able to accomplish because of the people like you who are listening to this show, who watch every week, who support us on social media, who interact with us. If you see us in public, you come up to us and say what's up. It really does mean a lot. And we're just getting started. We're just getting started. And I love this week every single year leading up to our anniversary because it makes me think back to being in that studio room down here in the underground and where things started behind a black screen, a black sheet, and talking about the Eagles winning a Super Bowl in front of, 100 people on a Facebook page to where we are now is really, really special. So I can only say thank you. It will never be enough. And it would be the perfect cherry on top to us celebrating this company. Then on Sunday, the Birds getting it done and bringing home a championship. So yeah, let's do it. Let's celebrate. Let's have ourselves a week. Let's keep rocking and rolling. We're not going anywhere. and the excitement just continues to roll out. Let's have ourselves one hell of a fucking week, everybody. It's Super Bowl week here at Underground Sports Philadelphia. Let's go. I am hoping on Thursday's show we will have quite a few guests joining us on the pod to talk the big game, talk about the Eagles, and a whole bunch more. So definitely keep your eyes peeled for what's to come. Follow us on the socials. Search Underground Sports Philadelphia on your social media platform of choice. You can follow me at KBIZZL311 on Twitter and KBIZZLE11 on Instagram and Threads. Subscribe to the podcast on Apple and Spotify. Be like Chef Sandro. Shout out to the boy. Leave a 5-star review. It goes a long way for helping this show continue to grow. Helps more people find Underground Sports Philadelphia and our entire catalog of podcasts. And subscribe to the Underground Sports Philadelphia YouTube channel. It's youtube.com/@undergroundsportsphiladelphia. We are at 982 subscribers. Let's get to 1,000 before Anniversary Day on Friday. I can feel it. 18 more of you need to just hit that subscribe button, smash that like button, ring the bell icon, leave a comment in the comment section, and leave us a voicemail. Speakpipe.com/Underground Sports Philadelphia. I want to hear from you guys, your excitement about the big game. I want to hear from Mavericks fans, the whole 9 yards. Speakpipe.com/Underground Sports Philadelphia. And this show is proudly presented by the city of Vineland. And whether you're a company looking to expand, relocate, or you're a new business startup, selecting the right location is critical to your success. Vineland, New Jersey offers both an affordable business location and an excellent quality of life. The city's economic development department is a one-stop source for moving your project through the development and approval process, and their goal is to make this process as smooth as possible and to provide the fastest turnaround times in the region. If you're considering potential locations for your operation, contact the Vineland Economic Development Team at 856-794-4100. That's 856-794-4100, Vineland, New Jersey, where it's always growing season. And big thank you to Security 21 Security Systems and Paul J. Gillespie Incorporated for their continued support of this podcast. This has been episode number 713 of Underground Sports Philadelphia, a big game week episode of Underground Sports Philadelphia. I'm your boy KB. Thank you guys for your continued support. Let's have ourselves a week. I'm getting the heck up out of here. I'll catch you on Thursday's episode with Harrison and hopefully a couple guests as well. But until then, I'm getting the heck up out of here. I'm signing off. Peace. And as they always say, go Birds!